Morning, everyone. It's great to be with all of you again on another Sunday for a virtual gathering of the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Lower Box. I'm Karen Marcus, and I'm your lay leader for today. It's a beautiful day outside for those of you who've been celebrating Passover, and for those of us who are worshiping or celebrating their Easter Sunday. We're so glad that you took the time to be here with us today because this is a wonderful time of year with that alignment of those two different religious traditions, as well as the reawakening of our earth. It's just a beautiful time. So let me get our slides up for our service. We have some wonderful information that's going to be shared today, both in our messages and in our song. And I'm trying to make it the best experience for you by using some new Zoom controls. So as I said, welcome to this congregation where for over half a century, we've been seeking to foster community, to grow our spirits, to serve others, and to work for justice. We're so very glad that you've joined us this morning in this, our sacred cyberspace, and we hope that here, as well as everywhere, you experience love, acceptance, and inspiration. So be sure to stick around after our service, where we welcome you to join us in fellowship and conversation. It's a new month, so we have a new monthly touchstone theme, and these are important because they do help to shape our days and guide our journey. The topic for the month of April is mindfulness. Mindfulness is the quality and practice that overcomes our fragmentation so that we can experience wholeness. Mindfulness is the call to pay attention. M. Scott Peck said that the principal form of love is attention. Being mindful is paying attention to ourselves, others, and the world. Mindfulness requires skill, but its practice is transformative of ourself and our relationships. We are pleased to have Reverend Dr. Craig Rubano join us once again. As you know, he is co-minister of the UU congregation of Monmouth County in Lincroft, New Jersey. Craig is familiar to us because he has been a guest minister as far back as 2011 with UUFLB. At that time, he was pursuing his Master's of Divinity and Theology, as well as a PhD in Pastoral Theology at the Princeton Theological Seminary. He was ordained to the ministry in 2018 by the UU congregation of Princeton, New Jersey. He is a graduate of Yale College and Columbia University, and he lives at the summit of 10 Mile Run Mountain, just north of Princeton, where he has helped to raise 2 nieces and 2 Nigerian dwarf goats. And we've said this so many times, I'd like to see a picture of those goats the next time Craig is with us. His sermon topic today has an interesting title, Easter Geese. He is, as he will tell you, happy to be with us again. And he's going to tell us a little bit about how new life can be sudden, unexpected, even miraculous. So it pays to be newly mindful that the true message of Easter may come from the most unanticipated quarters, even a pair of Canadian geese. So now let us enter into worship together. Avi has prepared an interesting first prelude song for us called Feeling Good by Nina Simone.
Bird flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. streets drifting by. You know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me. And I'm feeling good. Fish in the sea, you know how I feel. River running free, you know how I feel. Blossom on the tree, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me. And I'm feeling good. Dragonfly out in the sun, you know what I mean. Butterflies all having fun, you know what I mean. Sleep in peace when day is done, that's what I mean. And this old world is a new world and a bold world for me. And I'm feeling good. Stars when you shine, you know how I feel. Scent of the pine, you know how I feel. Freedom is mine, and I know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me. And I'm feeling good.
As always, Aviv chooses just the perfect thing to get us in the mood for our service this morning. I hope you are feeling good. So let me light our chalice, and then we'll read these very moving words. Won't you join me? We light this chalice as a beacon of hope for those who have gathered here this day, for all who have ever walked through our doors, for those who may yet to find this spiritual home, and for those whose paths will never come our way. For all this, and for all those things we dare to hope and dream, we kindle our chalice flame this day. And I thank our worship team for providing those very moving words. The opening words for our service come from the April Touchstone Journal. Antoine de Saint-Exupéry asks, "What are you worth when motionless?" Could it be in those moments that your worth is immeasurable? In truth, the purpose of life is not to go faster, but deeper. This is what the Buddhist monk Thich Nhat Hanh means by the miracle of mindfulness. It is by going slower, by being mindful, by expanding the present moment, that we are able to go deeper. And so now Angela Connon, our Director of Religious Exploration, has an interesting experience for us today in our message for all ages.
Good morning, everybody, and happy Easter. Today in service, you're going to be exploring several themes around spring and Easter, such as life and birth, growth and openness. I actually thought a little meditation for spring renewal would be the perfect complement to that message. And so I am going to guide you through a short meditation. Just going to put my video away for a moment and I'll be back soon. While we go through this meditation, feel really invited to turn off your cameras for the next few minutes, if you'd like. I invite you to get as comfortable as possible where you are and begin by taking 3 deep breaths. As you exhale on that 3rd breath, I welcome you to close your eyes. Begin to just pay attention to how your breath flows in and out of your body. As you exhale, imagine exhaling any stress, tension, or negativity that may be building up. Imagine breathing in peacefulness. Visualize little bubbles of air containing relaxation and calm traveling to every cell and filling it with peace. You're beginning to feel so calm and peaceful and relaxed now. Spring has begun. This new and fresh season is a good time to make room for new, wonderful things to happen in your life. Remember that you are growing and changing each day, just like the plants and animals that surround us. Every season brings a new you. Think about how during the winter months, certain flowers disappear only to come back to life stronger during the springtime. Imagine now you are a flower ready to sprout from the bud. You've been hibernating all winter in a cozy shelter snuggled in the earth, which protected you all through the frosty, wintry months. Now, as spring begins, the rains fall from the sky and you soak up the water completely into your roots and through every cell. The rain renews you and gently wakes you up. Notice how you look forward to feeling the beautiful warmth of the sun once again. Now you break through the bulb and start to grow into the beautiful, bright, proud flower that you are becoming. This is much like all of life. We choose new goals or things to strive for and work towards those which make us feel amazing and good each and every day. We always strive to show the best in ourselves and to be the best we can be. I invite you now to think about something that you'd like to do or achieve, or something you'd like to improve upon in your life right now. What is it that you'd like to be able to do better? Just focus on that for a moment and imagine yourself growing and learning and becoming better at that exact thing. Imagine doing whatever it is that you wish to do. See it in your mind as already being real and true, as if it's already happened. Now imagine yourself surrounded by loved ones who are cheering you on. You're so proud of yourself, and everyone else is proud of all you've accomplished. You can feel your heart welling up. This is what you set your mind to, what you focused on. Because of your focus and your effort to improve yourself each day, and because you believe in yourself, you have been able to make it happen. Just as a flower comes back stronger each spring, you do too. You've done a beautiful job relaxing and imagining today. When you're ready, I invite you to give your body a big stretch and open your eyes. Well, I hope you feel good after that little meditation. I know I always enjoy a little guided meditation. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. Bye, friends.
How special was that? And speaking of special, Avi has selected a song that was new to me. I read a little bit about it, but he'll give you a brief introduction. I just encourage you to listen to the lyrics.
Dona is based on an ancient proverb. The origins of the text are unknown. On a wagon bound for slaughter, there's a calf with a mournful eye. High above him there's a swallow winging swiftly through the sky. How the winds are laughing, they laugh with all their might. Laugh and laugh the whole day through and half the summer's night. Dona, 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 dona. Dona, 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 don. Dona, 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 dona. Dona, 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 don. Stop complaining, said the farmer, who told you a calf to be. Why don't you have wings to fly with, like the swallow so proud and free? How the winds are laughing, they laugh with all their might. Laugh and laugh the whole day through and half the summer's night. Dona, 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 dona. Dona, 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 don. Dona, 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 dona. Dona, 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 don. Some are easily bound to follow, never knowing the reason why. But whoever treasures freedom, like the swallow, must learn to fly. How the winds are laughing, they laugh with all their might. Laugh and laugh the whole day through and half the summer's night. Dona, 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 dona. Dona, 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 don. Dona, 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 dona. Dona, 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 don.
May we all learn to fly a little more and laugh a lot more. And now Reverend Dr. Craig Rubano will provide us with a reading.
Hello, I'm the Reverend Craig Rubano, serving as co-minister of the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Monmouth County in Lincroft, New Jersey. And I am so pleased to have been invited to be back among you for your celebration of Easter. Our reading this morning is by Richard S. Gilbert from his book, In the Holy Quiet, Meditations. A tomb is no place to stay, be it a cave in the Judean hills or the dark cavern of the spirit. A tomb is no place to stay when fresh grass rolls away the stone of winter cold and valiant flowers burst their way to warmth and light. A tomb is no place to stay when each morning announces our reprieve, and we know we are granted yet another day of living. A tomb is no place to stay when life laughs a welcome to hearts that have been away too long. A tomb is no place to stay.
Now it is a time to share our gifts. And the split plate recipient for the month of April is an organization that's near and dear to my heart, as many of you know, and that's NAMI. That stands for the National Alliance on Mental Illness. It is the nation's largest grassroots mental health organization dedicated to building better lives for the millions of Americans who are affected by mental illness. Our donations will benefit directly the NAMI Mercer affiliate of that organization. NAMI Mercer provides free, top-rated mental health programs and services to our community. It is a robust local affiliate. NAMI Mercer listens, leads, educates, and advocates, empowering families and individuals affected by mental illness to build lives of quality and respect, free of stigma and discrimination. And it's an organization that's been around for nearly 40 years, and in that time has helped thousands of families and individuals each year. So please be generous, and thank you for that generosity. As always, you're welcome to put a check in the mail to the UUFLB offices. Just make sure you put the split plate donation in the memo line. And thank you again for that generosity. And now we'll have our sermon message from Dr. Reverend Craig.
Every year, I find that I've so thoroughly forgotten what the world looks like with flowers and leaves that it occurs to me, what if nature doesn't bloom this time around? And then slowly sometimes, and sometimes seemingly overnight, the daffodils push up from the soil, the crocuses appear in new places to which they have mysteriously spread, the forsythia are a riot of color against other trees' bare branches, and it's spring once again. Every year, I wonder at the miracle of it all. And at my house for many years now, I have been visited every spring by a certain pair of Canada geese. I can tell it's the same geese because one of them has a very particular way of walking, and their daily routine never varies, with my house being the center of their circular peregrinations. I'm embarrassed to admit that the first time my goose couple showed up on the property, I tried to chase them away because I didn't think very highly of geese. I thought a whole bunch of them would come and take over the fields adjoining my property. But my two geese were very insistent, like they yelled and flapped their wings at me. So I decided to let them be and see what would happen. As a result, at a certain time in May, I get a front row seat for the gosling parade. The proud parents and the cutie pie little ones toddle from their nest and circle all the way around my house and back, sometimes a couple of times a day. I'm filled with a sense of amazement. First, that these creatures find their way back to my small parcel of the world every year. And second, that I have grown to love, of all things, a pair of geese. And I get a wonderful connected feeling inside because I am mindful that they are back for the same reason the landscape is in flower. Life is starting up again from out of the cold and starkness of winter. New life often pops up unexpectedly. It brings with it hope and comfort, a sense that our world sustains us and that what had seemingly been gone away is never truly gone. Things come back around, though not always in the way we expect them to. The Easter story is a lot like that. In the writings that tried to capture the life of a great teacher nearly 2,000 years ago, we read that Jesus of Nazareth wanted everyone to know that what was sacred about life was the love people could share with one another. That when people gathered together, the spirit of life was awakened in them. That spirit of life and love was described by the word God. Because God, by definition, was whatever was too big and too mysterious and too wonderful and too awesome to be captured in words. That really is what God means. It means something so vast you can't really describe it. Jesus taught that God's love was big enough for everyone to have a piece. Whatever God was, the way humans could tap into that power was by experiencing love with one another and sharing it freely, without rules and obligations, without having to get something back or offer anything as payment. Love is free, if it's really love. But Jesus lived in the time of the Roman Empire, and there were a lot of rules. You could love, but you always had to give part of your heart to the government. Jesus said, no, give part of your money to the government if you must, but give your love to one another, just as God's love is freely available to all of creation. In the dire world that gave rise to the first Easter story, temple priests had become paid-off pawns, colluding with the domination system, giving religious legitimation to political oppression and economic exploitation of the many by the few. In the face of that system, Jesus proclaimed that the last would be first, that the face of God could be seen most readily in the faces of the poor, the downtrodden, and the outcast. Jesus had nothing but a ragtag group of friends and followers, and even they ran off, scared when the authorities ultimately came to arrest him. Yet through it all, his was a spirit of calm determination. It's that calm that speaks most clearly to me come Easter. It gives me an example of how to live, and yes, when it comes to that, how to understand death. For Jesus got in trouble with the government, and he ended up being killed by the state. His friends were sad, and confused. Everyone had thought he would be with them for a long time and might eventually become a great ruler. That did not happen. But the love Jesus had preached was so powerful and had healed so many that his followers wanted to be able to continue to share their experience of him. So they did what folks did in those days to convey truths. They began to tell stories about Jesus. Easter became the story his followers lived to tell, the story they felt able to live because of him. They found that when they got together and remembered Jesus, it was as if he were still there alongside them, and that the worldview he espoused had become their own. They discovered that their very notion of who and what God was had been altered as a result of how God-filled Jesus had been. They found they could no longer think of God without thinking of Jesus. Easter is the celebration of their awakening into possession of a hope that they had thought might have died alongside their friend and teacher, but that instead they found was very much alive. And they realized that it was when they gathered together that they were most able to feel that Easter hope, that their felt presence of God was most alive when they sat with one another, when they ate as a community, when they meditated and prayed with and for one another. In fact, Jesus had allowed them to understand that God was that communal spirit of life and love, that God was tied to their common humanity. So they continued to gather, and they created ritualized ways of coming into community, of symbolizing their belonging one to another. And in a very real way, because they gathered, we gather. Easter is a day to acknowledge our kindred passion for justice, for community, for mutual love and support, and for life-changing hope. The way of Jesus was powerful in its simplicity, in its humility, in its attitude of service. He was daring in speaking out against oppression. He was resolute in bringing people in from the margins of society, hope-filled as he preached to them about a different way, something he called the kingdom of God, in contradistinction to a kingdom of empire that turned people against one another. He allowed many who came into contact with him to see life through a lens of care, concern, calm, and love. Jesus set an example that we can follow by walking the same path he walked, loving God and loving ourselves and loving others always. He was courageous and honest, and we can follow in the way of Jesus by being courageous and honest too. The story of Easter is that, yes, there will be fear, there will be pain, there will be tombs over which to grieve, but that we don't have to stay there. Together, we can harness a hope that cannot be contained by a tomb. The gift of life is too precious, too powerful to linger at the tombs in our lives. It is Easter whenever we are still here. We gather. We look to one another for support. We find hope in one another's eyes. Our connections with one another are sacred ground. Not a building, not whatever we call our religious affiliation at any given time. It is we who matter. My Easter hope this morning is that by ritualizing our connectivity, by celebrating it, by singing about it, by meditating on it, we create a place within our very selves for one another, so that even when we are apart, separated by space, time, or pandemic, we and others can gather ourselves up and remember, and the Easter hope of old will be new again. So I wish you a happy Easter, and I hope that year after year you are mindful of the wonder of spring, the rebirth of life when it almost seems like you'll never see green again. And keep your eyes peeled. You may find that if you have a little patience and show a little hospitality, you might be filled with love and wonder when you least expect it, even for a pair of geese.
Thank you, Reverend Dr. Craig. That was a very special message, and from my part at least, a very warm and welcoming way to experience Easter this year. And in that spirit of community, let us take a time to share our joys and sorrows. Oops. There we go. So I'll start off. I think you know the routine of just raising either your virtual or actual hand if you want to share anything, but I do want to start first by expressing gratitude for Sherry and Gil being on the call again this morning, even though they're doing it virtually from Gil's home in Ohio, where they're there to celebrate a family milestone. So I just want to express my gratitude for their support being with us this morning and for all the hard work they do in putting together our service each week.
Thank you.
Would anyone like to share? Let me see if I get the participants window up.
I guess since you mentioned our family milestone, I should share that in 2 days, we'll be coming together, our extended family from all over the country through the miracle of Zoom and celebrating my father's 90th birthday. So that's a joy.
Please pass along our congratulations to him.
Nobody has raised their little blue hand.
Yeah.
Julian, hang on. You can unmute yourself.
Hi. Well, first of all, I just want to say this is my first time doing service with y'all, because I recently got a new job, which is going to allow me to move to Morrisville and relocate from UUCP, which actually is where Craig Rubano was initially, working, and where we sponsored him to be a minister. So I was very happy to see him today. And so this new job is going to pay me better and allow me to live on my own out in Morrisville and hopefully see everyone in person. I'm actually seeing one specific familiar from Ace Elizabeth, who I know through Susie, which is a very nice surprise as well. So that is this wonderful time in my life that I celebrate with everyone here.
Congratulations and welcome. We hope to see much more of you. Anybody else? Oh, we've got
Jeff Ellis. Jeff, you should be able to unmute now.
All right. Yeah, I just have a joy. This past Wednesday, I traded in my old 2003 car and I got a nice Ford C-Max hybrid car. Very nice. I walked around the block this morning, counted 110 cars. There was one other hybrid, a Honda Civic. So glad I'm in the 21st century.
I think Bill and Mary want to.
Okay, hang on. Bill and Jane, you can
we have a very special day. I've been privileged to be married to this woman for 68 years. Actually, on Easter Sunday,
It's Easter.
the 5th of April. So
Tomorrow.
that's tomorrow. So I wanted everybody to share our joy. We're very fortunate.
Congratulations. You see all the clapping hands.
Me too.
Anyone else?
Gloria, go ahead and unmute now. There you go.
Yes, I had a major egg hunt planned today for my little great grandchildren that I haven't seen in ages. I planned it March 1st. I thought this time we would be able to get together, but the 15-year-old boy was tested positive, which surprised me because we don't think that age is that much in danger. So I had to cancel it all because everybody had been exposed to him. I'm sad about that, but we have to be safe rather than sorry. Just what is.
Well, we're glad that you're staying safe, Gloria. Appreciate that. All right, Robin.
Where are they, Gil?
I got him.
Okay, thank you.
Hey there. So just to, not that we're competing with Bill and Mary Jane here, but today is 34 years since Robin and my's first date back in 1987.
Yes.
Well, congratulations as well. And I'm impressed. You remember the first date. Most of us have trouble with the anniversaries.
No dates I got down.
Yeah, he's always been good about that. When we met at the North Philadelphia train station. We were, I don't know if we were going to Temple or coming from. It was the beginning or the end of the day. And I was dressed, I had just moved from San Francisco and where it's a little bit warmer, and this was January. And so I wasn't dressed real warmly, and it was raining, and he came running down with an umbrella. I'd never met him before, and he held an umbrella over my head to keep me dry. So that was the beginning.
He's proven to be a knight in shining armor for sure. Anyone else?
I think we're good.
I think we are good. Well, thank you everybody for sharing. For those of you who are, whether or not you shared, those of you who have a celebration or a joy in your heart, we celebrate with you. And for those of you who have a sorrow, please know that, and we hope that you feel our compassion and sympathy. And for all the joys and sorrows that went unspoken this morning, let's take just a moment, as we were preparing earlier today to do that meditation. Let's just still ourselves for just that moment to reach out into the universe, into the world, and to send our positive vibrations everywhere. And so as we continue our service, we'll be bringing it to a close with a very energetic toe-tapping song that Avi has selected for us. So I dare you not to be moving along.
Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land where I'm bound. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land where I'm bound. There'll be freedom in that land. There'll be freedom in that land. There'll be freedom in that land where I'm bound. There'll be freedom in that land. There'll be freedom in that land. There'll be freedom in that land where I'm bound. that land where I'm bound. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land where I'm bound.
Well, that has to have woken you up. I hope you enjoyed it. So now we'll close our service with the extinguishing of the chalice. Read these words with me. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. That concludes our service. Let's continue in fellowship during our virtual coffee hour.